Hello on top of the evening to you, Dr. STEM. Omaria, could you go ahead and do the welcome to our very special guest on this evening? Dr. STEM, and she will pronounce her last name. For the last maybe 8 or 10 years, we've been referring to her as Dr. STEM. After the welcome, I'll have her pronounce her full name, and you'll say, all right, then I see why we say Dr. STEM. Go right ahead, Omaria, please. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, Dr. Sim. It is an honor to have you on YPF with us. We are always learning, growing, and embarking on new knowledge, and I know that's what you are here to do. It is such an honor to have you, and we are all ready for whatever you're going to teach us on and share with us on. And may you just have a great time with us, as I know we will have with you.
Thank you so very much, Omaria.
Thank you, Maria. That was beautiful. Welcome. Thank you.
Yes, it was. And Philip, each one, we are all curious to have a little insight as to who Dr. STEM is. Could you share that information with us, please? Thank you, Philip.
Yes, Lady D, it'd be my pleasure. Dr. STEM, it's a pleasure to have you on our program again, like Amaria once said. And I do not know exactly how to express how grateful we are to have you here again. I don't exactly know exactly what or how it's easy to explain things to kids in a way they can understand and perceive, but it's a pleasure to have you here again. And thank you so much for everything. Lady D, can I meet with you real quick? Thank you.
Do you have the bio there, Philip? Oh, I don't know what's happening to my phone. Okay. I sent it. See, it says sent. I don't know what happened. Okay, you know what? Dr. STEM, who is Dr. STEM? Who is, I mean, I wanted to work my little ones, you know, they are so very eloquent and good at what they do. I'm showcasing them. But you know, things happen. My phone is, that little circle is going around. I don't know what, it's getting a fever or a cold or whatever, but it won't stop the show. Could you introduce you to us? Tell us briefly a little bit about who you are and what you do. Could you do that, please? Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Lady D and Philip. I want to give you props. Thank you for that intro. The way you did it was so slick, like Lady
He
D.
let us lead and thought he was leading up to it. Yes.
But that's what we are here for. Good for you, and thank you for being that confident, because the whole thing is about you doing it anyway. Because you could have said, "Well, I don't have the file," and that's it. But you were brilliant. Thank you all so much, and I'm so excited to come back to here. For those of you that have met me, I'm so glad to see you again. Those of you that are new, I'm excited to be here with you. My name is Dr. STEM, S-T-E-M. The short name for Stembile, it's really long, and I'll put it in the chat whilst we are chatting so that you can see. Malatini is how it's pronounced, Malatini, like Italian, but the proper way of pronouncing my last name is Matlatini. I'm originally from Zimbabwe, just in case you can hear the accent. And I live in Orlando, Florida. So I'm so excited because we have people, young people from Jamaica, my favorite island. And then we have people from around here in the United States. So I'm so excited. I am a mental health therapist. So I've been in private practice where I do therapy here with kids, with families, with couples, with adults. I'm also the founder of the Bounce Back Empowerment Conference and the Bounce Back Boutique. That's why I'm wearing my boutique t-shirts. And this is positive t-shirts and positive hats and positive pants, and also sweaters that are positive statements, because one of the things that I know for sure is confidence is key to everything that you want, whether you want to succeed, whether you want to do well in life and you want to grow up and become somebody, you have to be confident. So I started this Bounce Back Boutique. It's going to be so exciting when you go on it, because you will see, yes, I can succeed. Yes, I can. I am worthy. I was born worthy. So those are the things that I come to talk to you about today, so that we can talk about, being worthy, being confident, and also what teenagers need. So I want this to be interactive between us, which means I want you guys to ask me questions and I ask you questions. Lady D and I being the adults. I don't see anybody else who's,
Yes,
probably so grown.
Miss Lee is an
Oh, yeah.
adult as well. There she is over the
Oh,
corner.
seriously?
Yes.
Okay, good. So you have 3 adults that will be answering some of your questions that you have, but I prepared some questions as well. So I'm excited to be here.
Well, now you've got a gist of who she is and what she does. Let the show begin. Who has the first question, please? Is there any particular it's just your headspace is just going and you just gotta know. Go right ahead, Philip, please. Thank you so much.
Hello, Miss Dr. Stem. Sorry, I will not try to pronounce the last one as of yet.
Yes.
Um, how was it like? Did you start your practice in your country where you're from, in Zimbabwe, or did you start it in? Oh, can you tell me a lot about that?
Thank you. Thank you for that great question. So I came here when I was 21 years old to America, and I came to do school. I came here so that I could be educated, coming from Zimbabwe. So I didn't know anyone. And I came in to go to Rapid City, South Dakota. It's a state that is here in the United States, very small. And I lived on campus for a year. And then, I couldn't pay for my tuition or anything, coming from there. So I started living in a basement of a church, after I couldn't pay for it. Yeah, I couldn't pay for it. So I'm a very much of a believer. I believe in God. I pray. I was raised in church. So I knew without a shadow of a doubt that God brought me here for a reason, and I was going to make it no matter what. That's why, I actually have a t-shirt that says no matter what. I knew that I had to do it no matter what. So I stayed in that basement until I found a university that could sponsor me in Boston, Massachusetts. So I moved to Boston, and I had, I did an associate degree, bachelor's degree, master's degree, and doctorate degree. You know why I did all of those degrees? I did them so that nobody else can tell me that you don't have this degree. So I also did the doctorate degree because I wanted all the doors that I want to walk in to open up when they hear, oh, Dr. STEM is coming. I just wanted them to open the door and say, come on in, doctor. So I started the private practice here 25 years ago. So I started after college, right? You have to get experience and also work for other people. So I worked in organizations where I was doing counseling under other people that were licensed so that I could learn. And then after 5 years, I said, if they can do it, I can do it too. Because then I wanted to, and I don't mean to be discriminating or anything, but there's also a reason why we also need to see our own people doing well, so and being an example. So I, all the organizations I worked were for, other people of color, but none were owned by our people. So I decided to open that so that we can have our own people coming to somebody that you can relate to, somebody that looks like you and can understand where you're coming from. But that's a great question. Thank you.
Oh, go ahead, Maria, please. Thank you.
Okay, I have 2 questions. Sorry. So when you came from Zimbabwe, did you have your career path in mind, or was it kind of you came and found it? Like you came and over time put it together based on experiences, found what you wanted to do, or have you always had a passion for, therapy? And my second question would be, do you own your own like therapist office? Like, do you own your own business, or do you still work under somebody now?
Wow. You guys have got some great questions. Okay. So the truth is, when I left Zimbabwe in the 80s, right? I think it was 84, 85 now. I've been here over 30 years, right? When I left, I came here to do computer science because in the 80s, everybody was into computers and, it was making money. So my intention or my plan was to come here, get a computer degree, go back to Zimbabwe, make lots of money as a computer analyst or a computer programmer, right? But guess what? I was not good at computers. I failed every class. So then, I took a sociology class, which was just an elective, and I took a sociology class. The teacher that was at the college at sociology class said, listen, and I was doing my bachelor's degree at that time. I was pursuing my bachelor's degree. He said, listen, it doesn't look like you're doing good in this computer program, but all the papers that I've seen you writing and everything, maybe you need to change your career, but you have to go back and go to a 2-year college first, because then maybe coming from Zimbabwe, you are not well versed or good at, adjusting to the American system. So you have to go to a 2-year degree. So that was before the end of my first year. And many a time when somebody tells us that you're not good enough and you have to go back to a 2-year, that's embarrassing. And that's also frustrating because now I'm going back 2 years. I'm thinking I'm going 4 years, right? But guess what? I didn't fight them because something in me told me that I can't stick with something that I'm not good at. So I went back to the 2-year degree that I was told to do. Remember, I told you guys that I'm a believer. I'm also a Christian. So I'm praying for God to come through and intervene in my life. And then this teacher says, go back and do 2 years. So I went back and did 2 years, which was the associate degree. Now I was feeling more confident about myself. And I knew, that now I can go back to the 4-year college, but I didn't know what I was going to do. So as I was doing the 2-year, I worked in a nursing home as a nurse's aide. When I was working who knows what a nurse's aide does? Do you guys know what a nurse's aide does?
Go ahead, Amaria.
Yeah, you do?
Yes, my mom does that. She's a CNA. Basically they set out anything for nurse, like any tools that are gonna be used. They do that. Sometimes they do like bring things into the patient's room, like things that they may need, like maybe a blanket if they're cold, extra towels. Sometimes they're generally just prepping the room, and in some cases when it's private care, they are the ones like helping out the people sometimes, like the different patients.
Awesome. Yes, we pretty much do care for the patient all around. Good for you. Even
just a minute, Dr. Stem. I would hate for Darren to think that we are ignoring him. What was your question? And you can see them, so why don't you call them out when you see? Yes, you go ahead and
I didn't see him. Okay.
yeah, go ahead,
Please
Darren.
go ahead. Please go ahead.
You said how when you came to America, you went to North Carolina, right? Is there anywhere that like what you said?
South Dakota.
Sorry, South Dakota. Is there anything that drawn you to that place or no?
Hey, you guys got some great questions. Good question. Thank you. I didn't know America at all. I didn't know the States. I didn't know where to go. But guess what I had? I wanted to come to America to get an education in America. That's all I knew. And I didn't care what state I go to. I didn't care what school I go to. All I knew was I wanted to come to America. So one of my uncles, my mother's brothers, is a pastor in the United Methodist Church. His name is Sanda Sanganza. He was coming back and forth to the United Methodist in America, preaching here and going back. So he's the one that said, there's a small college in South Dakota. I think I can help you apply and they can accept you in that because I've preached at their school and also the church that is right next to the college. That's how I got the position because my uncle helped me to apply for the position there. But it's in a remote place that doesn't even look like America. It doesn't look like the Hollywood. They've got all these mountains and people just I was in America and people said, how is it? It's not as, Hollywood as it looks on the maps and stuff. But that's how I came. So I didn't have any choice. But look at this now, right? When you are a person that is obedient, that wants to do something in your life, that is confident that something will happen, the right people will come to you, the right help will come to you. I wasn't there long enough for me after, the 1 year that I was there, and then, had to transition into a basement of a church so that I could find the help. It wasn't too long until I got the place to come to Boston, to go to Boston. I'm in Florida now, to go to Boston. And from that, moment on, when I went to Boston and, got into another college in there, the rest is history. Things just started working out. I would work at night because I couldn't afford the financial aid. So I worked in the nursing home during the day, and then I paid for one class to go during the night. So I would go to school at night. So it took me 8 years to get a 4-year degree because I was paying for it myself, so that I could do it. But that was a great question.
Another question though.
Okay.
A lot of people that come to America just assume that, oh yeah, I can go across states for like a day trip, and like they assume it's much smaller than it actually is. Was that like a shock to you when you came in, that like everything was more bigger and spaced out than you were imagining?
To be honest with you, Zimbabwe was very well up in the 80s. We really had the big cities, the big, towers, buildings and everything, that I really wasn't surprised, because then I grew up in the city. Contrary to other people that might have grown up in the rural areas of Zimbabwe, I came from the city. I lived in what they call a township, where as I was growing up, but then I think I was around 9-10 years old when we moved into the city. So now we were well versed about with the city and the cars, and I was driving at 18. I used to be driving and everything. So I think it was a little bit different for me. It wasn't a shock, as much.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're going, Chardonnay. I was trying to recognize you because you did your preparation, and I would be remiss if I not ask you to share what you prepared. She had a bit of problem getting on. Hi, Chardonnay. How are you, love?
Hi, I'm good.
Good to have you along. We started because time waits on no one, but because you took time out to do your preparation, we're just going to briefly segue into what she has to share. Is that all right, Dr. Stem?
Yes, please.
Okay.
To do it, my camera is going to be a bit freezy, a little bit, but you'll be able to hear me still.
Okay, as long as we can hear it clearly. Go ahead, Chardonnay. Thank you.
Okay, so you're hearing me?
Yes, clearly, sweetheart. Go right ahead. Thank you.
All right, so in Jamaica in November, we celebrate young persons. They're really on the spot, and they're the focus of attention as we celebrate the Youth Month, which is under the theme Youth Impact, Innovative Minds, Purposeful Action, and Collective Triumphs. And that really means that we're putting all the young people that work hard and that have really put towards building what we have today on the spot, and we share how much we appreciate with them.
Well, short, sweet, and very informative. Thank you so very much for taking the time to prepare that and share with us, Chardonnay. We do appreciate. Thank you, love. Okay, back to you, Dr. Stem. Thank you.
Thank you. I think, Omaria, did I finish? Because there was something I was responding to you. I can't remember. My apologies. Did I finish your questions? Okay, awesome. Just want to make sure. Anybody else with a question?
She's up again. Go ahead, guys. Let us utilize her time. She's as busy as a bee, and we want to make sure we get all that we can out of her. Go ahead, Amaria. Thank you.
You did finish the original question I asked, but I was adding on to it. So I was also saying, so you finished your A degree, then you did your bachelor's. Was your AA or bachelor's in occupational therapy? And then if it was, and then adding on to that, how long did it take you to finish your doctorates? Because I know the time for finishing a doctorate can really vary. depending on major. So that's my question.
Okay, great question. The associate degree was in business. I've always been focused in business because I want the independence of making more money than the employer can pay me.
Mhm.
So, when you work a job, they pay you, they give you a paycheck. When you have your own business, you get what we call, profit. So profits are always better than wages. One thing that I forgot to tell you guys is I have authored over 54 books that are on Amazon. So if you go to Amazon, DrStem books, I have 54 books that are there. One of them is profits are better than wages. So because I had that mindset that I always will be in business no matter what, right?
Mm.
I can make it no matter what. I will succeed no matter what. Those are the kind of positive things that you find on the bounce back thing. So it was in business administration. And so you do your 2 years. The 2 years, that you do prepares you to go for your bachelor's degree. So then when you go to bachelor's, instead of doing it for the whole 4 years, you now do it in 2 years because you have an associate degree. So you go to do your bachelor's degree in another 2 years. And then you take another 2 years to do your master's degree after your bachelor's degree. And then after the master's degree, you go for 5 years to do your doctorate degree. And that's a total of like 14 years, I think, when you put them all together. It is worth the years and the time because they go by so fast. Because I know when you're young like this, you're like, what? I want to be doing this for 14 years. It depends on what you want to do. If you want to succeed in life, it's always going to be ongoing education. But once you start now, either, you go be in the job, you just don't want a job where you cannot get promoted and go up, right? If you want to do a side job now, it's a side thing on the side. Education is always key. I know now with social media and everything, anybody can start a business, right? But if you don't know how to manage your finances, you don't know how to hire the right people and make sure that they're doing the right thing for you and helping you out, which is education, you're going to lose a lot of money.
Yes.
Yeah, so education is key, right?
Definitely, definitely. And if I might interject right here, Dr. Stem, you're so humble. You're so humble. You didn't mention that a couple of your books been on Amazon's #1 bestseller. So, listen, folks, and they are worthwhile getting. So go shopping, and it doesn't matter what age you are, there's a book in those 50 books that will say, hello, Amaria, here I am. This is yours. Hello, Philip. This one is crying out to you. Shananda, it's crying out to Darren. It's crying out to everybody. So, moms and dads, allow your little people to go. And for you and you as well, moms, there is one, and I must tell you this, once you take it up, you can't put it down. And if at this juncture, I must show off. I must show off. I think I've got one of these for each and every one of you little bambinas. It is most appropriate. It is entitled Unstoppable. With a show of hands, let me see who think or know that they are. Come on now, let me see those hands. You're unstoppable. Miss Lee, what about you? Aren't you unstoppable? I've got both hands up. Both
Me too.
hands, all those
Me too.
emojis. This is most appropriate for our little bambinas, Dr. Stem. And on behalf of CSC Radio, YPF, Lady D's Young People's Forum, we're very appreciative and very thankful. So all my little bambinas that are here
You're
today,
welcome.
you'll be getting one of this one. Miss Lee, you're not a little bambina, but you go get one too. Okay, everybody. It's gonna cost me to
Appreciate
send
you,
it to
Lady D.
Jamaica. Yeah, it's gonna send it to Jamaica, but you're all gonna get one. I had to just plug that right there, Dr. Stem. So continue, please.
Thank you. So you're going to send them to Jamaica too?
Or how else I'm gonna get it?
Oh,
It's
okay.
gonna cost me. This is gonna be a part of. I'm gonna the at Christmas time. Every one of my bambinas gets a Christmas gift. Every last one on the YPF gets a Christmas gift from CAC
Oh,
Radio,
wow.
YPF. So those that I have to send to Jamaica, this book will be deducted from part of what they're gonna get. No, I walk in faith and I believe and I trust God. I haven't seen a way out yet, but God says, let your desires known. And the kids and the show, this is my passion. And anywhere it's going to come from, He's a way maker. He's
Amen.
going to make a way for me to send it to all the bambinas in Jamaica that's on YPF and all the ones that are here. God is a good God.
Yeah.
Shananda, do you have a question for Dr. Stem, please, love?
Yes, miss.
Go right ahead, love. Go right ahead. Thank you.
Who, miss, who would spend 14 years just to do that, Miss Minosa? Who would it be?
Excuse me?
I heard 14 years, but I
Yeah,
didn't
did,
hear.
we didn't hear you clearly.
Miss, you spent 14 years a long time.
No, it's not. Because now the rest of my life I'll be running to the bank and cashing money because now I've got the education and I sell books and I, come and teach in America and I go around the world as well because I'm a motivational speaker. So 14 years of I'm 59 years old this year and I'll be 60 years in March next year. So can you imagine just taking away 59 years and you take 14 years and the rest of those years I've been just walking through doors in the White House and in companies big and small, in big hospitals. I go to the boardroom, to the big room, teach them about leadership and talk about teamwork. So it's worth it. It's worth the education.
Whose gadget is on listening to something else? Please mute so the others can hear clearly. We request clarity so we can hear distinctly what Dr. Stem is saying. Thank you so much. Yes, Dr. Stem, I like the way you answered that question. 14 years. It's behind you now. And now you're reaping the
Yes.
goodness of that 14 years.
Yes, yes. And I
I
say
want to
all
read
of,
one of your books.
sorry, I say to all of you, right? I came from Zimbabwe in Africa, and I have the highest of education in this country in America. I also own multiple businesses. I have written all of these books. If
50?
I can do 50 plus, if I can do it, this kid that came from Africa, from Zimbabwe, all of you can do that and better. And what I say in my books and what I say in everything I do, I say to people, try to beat me and do better than me. Don't try to. There was somebody that said, because I work in schools as well, doing counseling in schools, and they're like, Doc, can I come and work for you? I'll cook in your kitchen. And the other one's like, I'll drive you. I'll be your chauffeur. You know what I say to them? I want you to be my chauffeur, but you will own a company that has the limousines and everything, and your name is going to be there as the owner. You can say to your employees, oh, I'm taking this one, I'm going to drive her so that I can tell her that I now have a company that owns the limousine. You can come and cook in my kitchen only to tell me that, Doc, I came because I wanted to be special meal for you, but I own a culinary company that and sends people there, right? So that's what I want you to get out of this today, that whatever your dream is, whatever your ambition is, I want you to have the vision and the goal that if that lady could do it and she owns everything that she did and she went through it, I can do it too, because each and every one of you can do it. Yes, you can.
Is this where we say clearly and loudly what the mind can conceive, you can achieve,
Yes.
but you've got to put the work in?
Yes.
Oh, Maria, go ahead, please. She's anxiously awaiting your question.
Sure.
Okay, so I was basically going to say, like, currently I'm a high school senior. I graduate this spring. and I'm currently in college also because I'm dual enrolled, and I think I'm like at like this point where I'm like, I know like there's two different fields that I love both completely equally. I love law, political science to be specific, and I love education as well. Um, do you think it's more important that your initial degree, like as for you, like when you said that your initial degree was in business, that was really surprising, I guess I could say, because just didn't think that business would be such a foundation for someone who is in a medical degree in general. So looking at that, do you think that it makes like your AA should automatically be in business? Like that's my question.
Yeah, no. Thank you. And that's where we were when I was talking to you and we had other questions. Now I remember because you were asking me about passion and following my passion, whether that was my passion, and I knew it at the beginning. So that's the question I had. So here's the thing, right? I did business. Remember now I was sent back all the way to start over so that I can get acquainted to the schools here in America. So I took business because then I knew that I want to be in business in the end. So I better know how to do business. So that's why I did the basics of business. But I didn't know what I would want to do when I go back into the 4-year degree, whether it was going to be business or something else. Remember, I came in for computer science. So I worked in a nursing home. That's when I mentioned the nursing home. I worked in a nursing home as a nurse's aide. And one day, an elderly lady was brought into the nursing home and she was crying in the parking lot, right? And I mean, just hysterical. Don't put me in a nursing home. I don't want to be doing that. You can't do this to me. And I ran outside in the parking lot and asked the daughter if I could push her and talk to her. So as I did that and put her in the nursing home and I offered to help her and everything, right? I did not know that this lady would one day be my angel. I mean, God rest her soul, she's gone now. But I took care of her for like a week. And then she said to me, "Are you in college?" I said, "Well, I'm going in the fall, but I don't even know what I want to do." And she said, "You need to go for social work." And I said, "Social work? I don't want to be a social worker because in social work in my country, they don't get paid enough money. And then they go into families and they tell people how many children they need to have or they don't need to have. And so I just didn't want to do that, right? Then she said, "No, no, 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 honey. You can be a social worker and also go for your master's so that you can be a therapist and talk to the people. You are very good at it. You are very good with people. You help me." And what I used to do is I would call her daughter every day to tell her how her mother is doing so that she wouldn't worry and she wouldn't stress. And then I would come to her and tell her that I talked to your daughter. She's okay. She'll come on the weekend because then mother wanted her to visit every day, which I thought, no, that's too much. But I didn't know that by doing that, that's therapy and that's also social work. So, I'm a quick story with that. So I took that and then I went and registered, for social work. But then before I went to register, she said to me, "Do you know what school you can go?" I said, "No, ma'am, I don't." She says, "There's a social worker in this, nursing home that you can talk to," which I want to suggest to you that for the 2 degrees that you have, find people that are doing work with those degrees and do what we call informational interview, where you would have, a set of questions, which, Lady D, you can also give, all of them my email,
Yes.
DrStem14 @gmail, because then, I mean, I know for, Omaria, it's specific. I can
Yeah.
help you create informational interview questions for each of those degrees that you want to pursue. And then what you're going to do is you will call somebody who's got that degree and ask them questions so that now by them answering some of the questions, it will help you also narrow it down what you want to do first, or, whether you want to pursue that first. The other thing is pursue your bachelor's degree, after that, because then in life, you can test drive a job after you do, a degree, and then you decide at 25 or 30 after you've had your family and, wherever you go, travel around the world, then you say, "You know what? don't think I want to do therapy like Dr. Stem said the other time, because then I won't think I want to be a therapist. You can always go back to school and do that as well, if that's where your heart and passion is. So I did the same thing as that lady in the nursing home that was a therapist. But what she did was, I have to tell you guys this, sometimes when you ask questions, people don't give you the answers that you want. I want you to go with your heart. That lady said to me, well, the school that I went to, it's very difficult to get into, but I can give you the other schools that will be easier for you to get to. And I'm thinking, why would you think that's easier? And I can go. I said, yes, please tell me the ones that I can get to. And then she explained to me. And then I said, which one did you go to? She said, Boston University. So I'm a Boston University graduate because
You told her that's the one you want to go. I
I
love
went
that.
to Boston University. So let nobody tell you that you are not good enough
You
or
know?
you can go there. You can go there where they tell you, oh, it's difficult. Oh, you can't get in there.
That's
Go
the one
there.
I want.
Because I went there and I'm a graduate.
I love
That
that.
is
Miss,
so amazing
it
because
is.
the same thing happened when I wanted to go to teachers college.
Yeah.
A lady told me, "Oh, it's too hard. You won't be able to get in. It's exclusive." And I proved them wrong, and I became one of the persons who were top in my school.
Look at that. Look
You
at
see?
that.
See? And you have those naysayers who they're just there to discourage you. And when they do that, you put a smile in your face and you say, just you wait and see. You will accomplish what your heart's desire with hard work. You've got to be very emphatic about that, Dr. Stem, because
Yes.
a lot of people are just dreamers. Oh, they dream they want to do this, they want to do that, and they want to do the other, but they're not putting in the hard work. You've got to decide from the get-go that whatever it takes, which is hard work. Look at all of what you are doing. It didn't stop you because you had an end goal and you have achieved it. And if you ask me, you're still going. Come on, anybody with another question? You had your emoji up, Darren? Oh, go ahead, Philip. Go ahead. Let's utilize her important time right here. Please, thank you.
Hello, Miss. I'm sorry if this is a personal question.
Okay.
Uh, but I know that you went to school for 14 years, and you went and you did your stuff, and you got out that gasoline, bless the Lord. But I want to know if you like took the time out in the midst of it to like raise a family or something, and if you did, would you recommend your family take the similar route, or is like you rather them take a less time consuming one?
Yes. Yes. Thank you for that question. And yes, I'll answer you. I did get married whilst I was, in school. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to have children. And hence now all my years I'm working with children. So I can say I have hundreds of children because I've worked with hundreds of children. So God also has a way of giving you the children, even though you say I didn't birth them, but I've been a mentor, a coach to many children that will, say to you that, you know what, you were like a mother to me. I'm like, oh, here we go. So I've been blessed, to do that. So thank you. That's a great question. So what happens too is whilst you are in school, yes, the 14 years, you can break the 14 years. Like I said, you can do the 2-year degree and 4-year degree, bachelor's degree. Bachelor's degree mostly is where you can now find a decent job, because with an associate degree, I wouldn't recommend breaking it then and then taking a break. So many people will take the 4-year degree and then take a break. And once they take a break, working for maybe a year or so, they go into their master's degree where you do it for 2 years and then go into the doctorate degree for the 5 years. Yes, Lady D.
Yes, we have to get out of a station that we are. Our time is up at 8 o'clock. We are multitasking and spreading our wings. So this is where we must say thanks very much to iritimes.com. We enjoyed the ride and we appreciate you. Until next week, same time, same place. If you need to reach me, listeners on iritimes.com, 407-948-8419. We are here at your call and beckon. Until next week, ta-ta, iritimes.com. and WKB AM 1680 and 100.7 FM, CIC Radio. We're still here. Go right ahead, Dr. Stem.
So
Continue.
awesome. Thank you. I could see your hand. So yes, to the breaks, and also I hope I was able to answer about the personal as well, because then life still goes on whilst you are in the education, once you have your degrees. So the first part was for me, I know I'm the firstborn of 7. So as a firstborn, one of the things that I knew and I still know for sure is I have been an example to my own siblings. So I needed to stay on the right course and do the right thing so that my siblings can do well. They are all here in the United States. They all have, degrees and businesses of themselves. They have families and have done so. So you have to find your why. Why do you want to be and do the things that you dream of, that you want to do? And many a time, the why has to be, I want to live good. I want to have a healthy and happy and wealthy life. Did you hear I said 3 words? Happy, healthy, and wealthy life.
Yes.
Money. We got to have money. So you got to have money. And education is money. Doing well is money. Stay away from the drugs, stay away from the alcohol. And people even up to today, they're like, you don't drink? I'm like, well, I want to, I look young, because then I don't want to be drinking and doing drugs because they age you. And, I don't want a wrinkled face. If you see somebody that's drinking, that's next to me, they look like they're 20 years older than me, but I'm 59 years old. And I'm like, why do I look younger than you?
I don't drink either.
Yeah, life has been tough, and and life will be tough, but you have to choose ways to deal with the tough things in life that do not break you or kill, who you are. And Lady D, I wanted to also, make one statement. I think there's something said about, action and doing something about it that you can dream. I use the word push, right? So push. For many people, it stands for pray until something happens. Right? Well, I also say pray, but you have to also push, and you also have to persevere until something happens. So you have the 3 P's for that push. You've got to pray, you've got to push, and you've got to persevere until something happens.
Love it.
Dreams do come true. And if they don't, it means God has a better path for you. If it fails and it doesn't work out, do not be discouraged and do not give up, because God has a better opportunity for you and a better path for you. So stand tall and stay confident and pray about it to say, okay, God, what am I supposed to do? Because this has not worked out. I guarantee you will find a way, or you will meet somebody that will say, listen, I've got an opportunity for you here. And you're like, I thought things were not going to work out, but they always work out. So stay faithful in your path, and also believing in what's possible for you.
Oh my goodness, what a summation. Thank you so very much, Dr. Stem. My little people, any pressing question, anything that you're pondering about and you're saying, I shoulda, couldn't, you remember, she's here now, and I have to wait a whole year again before she comes back. She's all over the world. Any questions? Going, Philip, Amaria, Darren, Mrs. Lee, Chardonnay?
It's not a question, but I just wanted to say thank you. Understanding that you have such a busy schedule and you do so much. Thank you so much for taking the time out to be on the program. I truly have learned a lot from you tonight, and I just want to say, and I think on behalf of everyone, thank you so much.
Oh my goodness. Yes, and yes again. I so look forward to having you all the time, Dr. Stem. And when you told me I had to wait so and so, because she's really, really booked up. Could you do one-on-one counsel as well? Do you care to share that number or that address while you're here, Dr. Stem? I'll follow up with all of my students, but if you care to share it, I will definitely give you the opportunity to do so.
Yes.
Because Go ahead,
So,
please.
so right now, thank you, Lady D. Right now, I'm not taking any new clients for the one-on-one that I'm doing because of the, traveling that I do. I am working, hard on the Bounce Back Empowerment Conference, which is done once a year, but
Mhm.
there's a bounce back movement that is happening because of COVID. Everybody felt like, oh my God, things are not going to work out. And then, every time that something happens for you young people that are dating, or if you've ever, when you get to the age of dating, you see that sometimes some people will break your heart and then friends will go their own way. We always have to bounce back from those situations that happen. Sometimes we lose a loved one, or people get divorced and then we stay with one parent because the parents are divorced. We have to bounce back. So I have this whole movement of bounce back that I've been working on, that you will find information on the bouncebackboutique.shop or bouncebackboutique.com. And for the conferences, next year we're going to be in Australia for the Bounce Back Empowerment Conference. I'll be in Australia, so I'm busy also preparing for that. If you guys, have parents or people that want to attend those, that information is on www.drstemy.com. In addition to that, that's why Lady D tells you that I'm busy. I coordinate the Bounce Back book series. So next year we'll be writing our third book. And in that book, I have 20 to 25 people that, will write a chapter in each book. I am inviting young, old men, women to be a part of it. You'll also find an application to be a part of the Bounce Back Book 3. That book for next year, this year was Bounce Back Dreams to Reality, Fear Over Faith. And next year, I think we have one that's called Struggles to Success, the Power of Believing in Self. If you think you have something that you want to share with the world in a title like that, please, reach out to me. I will be honored to have you as part of Bounce Back Book 3, which will be published. We will release it in Australia when we go for the Bounce Back, but it's going to be available on Amazon like all the books.
Are you planning any meeting in this vicinity? Oh, well, in Orlando anytime soon, Dr. Stem?
To be honest with you, for next year, I had not, but now that I keep coming back and doing this, again, there is something that I'm supposed to be doing with Lady D. So that's something that I'm going to, make time, sit down with Lady D. We probably can do something in person with all of you young ones and, see if we can have an empowerment conference. Oh, you know what? Saying that, I do have a nonprofit that is starting in January for
Uh-huh.
women youth empowerment services. So with that, I'm going to be doing workshops with the teenagers and workshop with the parents, ones that are together, parents and the youth. Because my questions today, I didn't even get to ask. So I'm definitely coming back. Next time, you guys answer my questions. and, and if your parents can join us, my questions, I want your parents to be there if they can log in with us on that. So we'll
Yes.
ADD and plan that. And please, let's invite the people that you stay with, whether it's grandma, dad, mom, they can log in from wherever they are, because I want it to be a bridging the gap session that we have. They tell us what they understand in expectations. You tell us what you understand in expectations. And then we bridge the gap on how we can best support you guys, because you are our leaders of tomorrow. And we want to
Loving
make
it.
sure that you're well equipped, you're strong, you're confident. So I want to do that.
Yes.
Guys, I want to come back and do that.
I'll definitely arrange that. And I
Okay.
would love that too, because a lot of times the kids are here
Yes.
and they are outspoken and they go home and they're rather very quiet. Moms and dads don't always know what they're thinking because that communication gap. And a show like this will Mom's here. Oh, I didn't know that Omari was thinking that. And Omari said, well, I didn't know Daddy thought about that. It's a coming together of the minds where at the end of the day, everybody benefits from it. Thank
Yes.
you so very much, Dr. Stem. It's always a pleasure. I look forward really, really soon. And yes, I'll give you a call on tomorrow and we'll plan this phenomenal bridging the gap. We'll call it getting together. How is that?
Thank you so much. And before I leave, Lady D, thank you for what you do. And all of you young people, I am so proud of you. Making the time to come and do this will go a long way for you. And next time, when a guest comes in, I want to see all of you with a pen and paper to write the things that that speaker is saying. I said a lot of nuggets today, so I hope it's being recorded. Get time to listen to it again and write down, have a pen and paper, write down some of the things that you're hearing or that you heard today, so that again you can work on those things. But each time that a speaker comes, I want to make sure that all of you never forget, or every meeting that you have with Lady D, have a little notebook that is just for YPF. Maybe we can whisper in Lady D to have notebook that says YPF, that will be in the gift basket for the end of year. And
you say, consider it done. You heard that, Father. She added something to the list.
yes. Thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and have a wonderful evening. To
It's
all my little people, it's always a pleasure to have you and to have me in your presence, and vice versa. I can tell you, I can expound on it, how important you make me. My heart sings. I go home singing, Dr. Stem. They make my week. They make my day. Moms and dads, I thank you so much for allowing them to share this time with us. Walk good, and give mom and dad a big hug and a kiss from us here at YPF. Much love until next week. Ta-ta. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.